Arin Malik stood in front of the wide station window. The stars outside looked calm, like cold white dust on black glass. To him, they did not look peaceful. They looked like witnesses who never spoke. He had waited his whole life for one thing. Not for money, not for power, not even for revenge. He had waited for an apology. Behind him, the corridor of the alien space station hummed softly. Machines breathed, doors sighed. Strange voices echoed in many languages. Arin did not turn to look. His dark eyes stayed on the blue planet far below, the world that was not Earth, but close enough to hurt. His wrist device vibrated once, sharp and urgent. A red circle of light opened above his hand. Text appeared in the air, clear and official. From Council of Civilized Worlds. Priority, highest, subject. Formal apology to humanity. Arin read the words 3 times. His heartbeat was loud in his ears. He had imagined this moment as a child, as a teenager, as a soldier. Now the message was real, and it felt wrong. The device spoke in a flat alien voice. Human citizen Arin Malik, you are invited to attend a formal apology ceremony. The Council regrets past events linked to Terra Nine. The session will be broadcast to the galaxy. Terra Nine. The name went through his mind like a knife. A human colony, a dust of ashes now. The place where his family died. The place the Council called a necessary action. He closed his hand, and the red circle vanished. For a moment, he did not move. The station lights around him blinked, patient and uncaring. Then Arin turned away from the window and began to walk. The corridor was wide and bright, made for many species. Some aliens floated, some walked on many legs, some slid across the smooth floor. As he passed, they watched him, some with open curiosity, some with quiet fear. That is the human. One small creature whispered to another, the one from Terra Nine. Arin heard them. He always heard them. He kept walking, his face calm, his shoulders straight. Tall security drones moved along the ceiling. Their metal eyes glowed as they scanned him, heart rate elevated. One drone said, "Stress chemicals high." "Subject remains stable," replied another. "Humans were always subjects here, never guests." He turned left at the memorial hall, and his steps slowed. Along the wall, thousands of names shone in soft blue light. Different scripts, different worlds. One long list of the dead. At the end of the hall, a small section held human names. Arin walked to it like a man walking into old smoke. His fingers touched the glowing letters. Malik, Hannah, Malik, Sarah, his mother, his little sister, gone in one bright, burning afternoon. Official report, no war crimes committed. Official words, the human colony was unstable. The Council had never said, "We were wrong," not once. Until now. Today they apologize, Arin whispered. His voice was low and rough. He was not sure if he was talking to the names, or to himself. He left the hall and moved toward the Council chamber. 2 tall guards waited at the entrance, armored and alert. Their eyes followed every step he took. One raised a hand. "You will not speak unless you are given permission. Human, this is a ceremony, not a trial." Arin looked at him. There was no fear in his eyes, only a deep, sharp tiredness. "I did not come for a show," he said. "I came for the truth." The second guard shifted, uneasy. In that small movement, Arin saw it, nervousness. The kind of fear that does not come from one man, the kind that comes from a secret. "What are you hiding?" he thought. The doors began to open with a slow, heavy sound. White light spilled out, bright and cold. Inside he could see floating platforms, rows of alien leaders, and a giant hala in the center of the hall. As he stepped through the doorway, the hala flickered to life. A small blue world appeared, a colony, its continents marked in human lines, labeled Terra Nine. Every eye in the grand chamber turned to Arin. The High Chancellor's voice filled the air, deep and ceremonial. "Today," the Chancellor said, "we are here to correct an old mistake. We are here to apologize to humanity." Arin's jaw tightened. He felt the weight of every year, every night, every memory pressing on his chest. He had waited his whole life to hear those words. But standing there, under the eyes of the galaxy, he felt one clear, cold thought rise inside him. Something is wrong with this apology. Years before Arin stood in the council hall, he was just a boy on Terra Nine. The sky over Terra Nine was always busy. Ships crossed to the clouds like silver birds. Big alien cruisers, small human shuttles, mining drones that shone like tiny stars in daylight. 8-year-old Arin Malik did not see danger in the sky. He saw stories. He saw adventure. He ran through the dust streets of the human quarter, bare feet kicking up red sand. In his hand he held a broken toy ship, made from old parts his mother brought from the repair bay. "Slow down, Arin," his mother called from the doorway of their small metal home. Hannah Malik wore a work suit with oil stains. Her hair was tied back, her eyes tired but warm. "You'll fall again." "I won't," Arin laughed. He always said that. And he always fell. Above the human buildings, tall alien towers shone in pale gold. Smooth, perfect, no sharp edges, no dirt. Alien flags floated in the wind. The Empire symbol looked like a circle over a line. On every street screen, the same message played. Protected world. Under the care of the Council of Civilized Worlds. Humans were told they were safe. Humans were told they were lucky. They were not told everything. On the edge of the quarter, a fence of blue energy marked the limit. Beyond it, alien patrol walkers moved, like metal insects with long legs. Their eyes glowed as they watched the human zone. Do not go near the fence. Hannah had said 100 times. Aliens are our partners. But they are afraid of us, afraid people make bad choices. Arin did not understand fear yet. He understood only rules, and the fun of almost breaking them. That day, the air felt strange. Too still, too quiet. Arin's little sister, Sarah, stood beside him, holding a cracked data slate like a toy. Do you hear that? She asked. Her voice was small. I hear nothing, Arin said. That is the problem. Usually, Terra Nine sang. Engines, tools, workers, music from cheap speakers, alien drones buzzing. Today, everything held its breath. A warning siren wailed once, long and low. Every adult looked up at the same time, eyes wide, bodies tense. Arin watched his mother freeze. Her hand dropped the tool she was holding. Another sound came. Not a siren, a murmur. Alien speech over hidden channels. On the public screens, the Protected World logo blinked off and on. Inside, now, Hannah said. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook. Is it a drill? Arin asked. They do drills. This is not a drill, she said. This time he heard fear, as they stepped inside the house. A bright line cut across the sky. A ship? No. More than one? 5, 10, 20, coming down from orbit in a perfect V-shape. Arin's father was already at the small table, watching a small holo projector. Lines of alien text scrolled too fast. What is it? Hannah asked. Security operation? He answered. Local command says there is a human threat. Arin blinked. A threat like a monster? He asked. His father did not smile. A threat like us, he said quietly. A voice came from the ceiling speaker, metallic and cold. Attention, human residents of Terra Nine. This is a standard security action. Remain in your homes. Do not attempt to leave the designated area. Sarah clutched Hannah's leg. Are we in danger? She whispered. Hannah knelt down. Her eyes were wet but steady. Listen to me, she told both children. No matter what happens, you run to the shelter under the floor. Do not wait for us. Arin felt a knot in his chest. I don't want to leave you, he said. You will do as I say, Hannah replied. That is how you protect your family today. The house shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Outside someone screamed, then another sound. Not like thunder, like the sky tearing. Arin ran to the small window. His mother tried to pull him back, but he was fast. He saw the first impact land in the far quarter, a flower of white fire, opening in silence. Then the sound hit. A brutal wave that slapped the air and the walls. The alien cruisers were not here to protect, they were here to erase, from somewhere above the clouds. A calm alien voice spoke to its own crew. We begin cleansing strike. Objective, remove human instability. The words did not reach Arin's ears, but the fire did. Buildings folded like paper. Streets broke apart. The blue energy fence flickered, then rose higher. It was not to keep aliens out. It was to keep humans in. Shelter, now, Hannah shouted. She grabbed Sarah and dragged her to the floor panel. Arin moved to help, hands shaking. The door burst open. A neighbor fell inside, burned, coughing. Why are they bombing us? He cried. We did nothing. No one answered. No one knew. Hannah shoved Arin toward the hidden hatch. His father pulled it open. Below a dark box waited, with enough air for a few hours. Arin, take your sister, his father said. Stay down there, no matter what you hear. What about you? Arin shouted over the growing roar outside. His father smiled, a small broken smile. Parents go last, he said. Sarah wrapped her arms around Arin's neck, crying. He climbed down, feeling the metal ladder under his hands. His heart hammered, his head rang with noise. Above, Hannah's face leaned over the opening. I am sorry, she said suddenly. The words were soft, almost lost in the... Arin Malik did not remember how long he stayed in the dark shelter on Terra Nine. He remembered only 3 things: the heat, the silence, and the door that never opened again for his parents. Years passed. The boy who crawled out of the broken ground was not the same boy who ran through dust streets with a toy ship. His hair was longer, his eyes were older, and something inside him had turned to stone. The Empire moved the human survivors to refugee blocks on faraway stations. Long halls, thin walls, recycled air. Every morning the same message played on the speakers. Remember, you are safe under Council protection. Terra 9 incident. Closed and resolved. Closed, resolved. 2 small words used to bury a whole world. Other humans tried to forget. They worked, they drank, they slept, they tried to build new lives out of scrap. Arin could not. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the sky break open and his mother's hand pushing him down into the shelter. At 16, Arin sat in a tiny learning pod. The screen in front of him showed alien history, glorious battles, wise councils, noble laws. On a side tab, a single line about Terra 9, local human uprising contained minimum force necessary. The text tasted like poison. He highlighted the line and opened the source list. There were no human reports, only alien voices. Only one side of the story. The teacher, A thin alien with silver skin and calm eyes floated past his pod. Is there a problem? Arin Malik, the teacher asked. Yes, Arin said. The file is missing something. What is missing? The truth. The teacher smiled in that soft, empty way aliens did when they wanted a human to be quiet. The council has reviewed the incident, the teacher said. There is nothing more to add. For you, maybe, Arin whispered. For me, it is just starting. That night, while the block slept, he stayed awake in the small glow of the pod. He broke every student rule and opened channels he was not supposed to touch. Alien law codes, military logs, ship movement records. He did not understand everything, but he understood enough. Terra Nine was not an accident. It was a decision. From that night, Arin did not study for grades. He studied for war. Not the kind with guns and fire, the quiet war of records and proof. He learned alien language like it was his birth tongue. He learned how their dates worked, how their files were sorted, the way their AI thought. He learned that aliens trusted numbers more than people, and systems more than feelings. So he went after their numbers, their systems. By 20, Arin joined the only group that would take a human like him, Human Special Operations, a force trained by the Empire, used as tools, sent to fix problems no one else wanted to touch. In training, other recruits tried to forget their past. They wanted to be faster, stronger, better than aliens. Arin wanted only one thing, to become someone the council could not ignore. He ran until his muscles burned. He fought until his hands bled. He learned to shoot, to hack, to fly, in every test. He pushed harder than needed, in every drill. He saw Terra Nine burning behind his eyes. Commanders watched him with mixed looks. This human is dangerous, one said. Yes, another answered. That is why we need him. They sent him on missions where Logi said, no one can survive. He survived. They sent him into war zones to calm riots. He came back with fewer dead than the models expected. They sent him to clean their mistakes. He came back carrying new questions. On one mission, Arin and his squad were sent to a mining moon. Official reason? Local equipment fault. Real reason? Humans angry about low food rations. The Empire always called human pain a fault. After the mission, when others slept, Arin slipped into the command center. He stood before a locked console. The alien AI guarding it spoke. Access denied. Level restricted. Arin smiled slightly. Good, he said. If it was easy, it would not be the truth. He placed his hand on the side panel. The scanner read human skin. Biology mismatch, the AI said. Arin had prepared for that. He pulled a small device from his pocket, a human-made tool, ugly but clever. He pressed it to the panel. It confused the scanner, made it see him as 3 different authorized users at the same time. The system glitched. The lock opened. The AI tried to raise an alarm. Arin cut the sound line before it could. Inside the console, a flood of files waited. Old reports, forgotten notes, closed cases. He searched one word. Terra. The screen filled with references. Terra Prime, Terra Station, Terra Trade. He narrowed it. Terra 9. Most of the files were marked, classified, council eyes only. A few were broken, half deleted by time or on purpose. He opened one. Grainy audio played. A voice spoke in bored alien tone. Human colony shows signs of unity. Dangerous. Recommend early action, to avoid long-term resistance. Another voice answered. Reported as instability. Use cleansing strike. Call it a safety operation. The first voice laughed softly. Humans are easier to manage when they are broken. Arin stared at the screen. The words burned into him. His hands shook. His teeth clenched. He had always believed the council lied. Now he had proof. He copied the file to a hidden drive. His heart beat hard. If they caught him, he would die as a traitor. If he did nothing, he would die as a tool. A small camera in the corner blinked red. Someone, somewhere, was watching, far away. In a quiet office on a high alien station, a council observer leaned toward her screen. She watched Arin's face as he read the forbidden file. He found it, she said softly. Her hands trembled just a little. This human will not forget. She opened a new report and began to type. Subject, Arin Malik. Status, critical recommendation. She paused, then wrote the line that would change his life. Invite him to the council. He is ready for the apology. The message did not come in the middle of peace. It came in the middle of a mission. Arin Malik was on a dead moon when his life changed. Dust storms walked across the gray rocks. Static filled the thin air. His squad moved between broken mining towers. Weapons ready. Official reason. Equipment failure. Real reason. Human workers angry again. It was always like this. The Empire lied on paper and sent humans to clean the truth. Sector 3 clear, a voice said in his earpiece. Sector to clear, another answered. Arin stood on a metal beam, high above a dark pit. He watched silent machines far below. He could feel it. Something here was wrong, but not in the usual way. His wrist device vibrated. A short, strange pulse, not the normal mission tone. Colder, deeper. He looked down at the small screen. New symbol, not command, not squad, council. The red circle opened in the air above his hand. Dust particles floated through the light like fireflies. Text appeared, sharp and clean. From Council of Civilized Worlds, Priority, absolute. Subject, invitation and formal notice. Invitation, formal. Those were soft words. Danger lived behind soft words. He accepted the message. The device spoke in a careful, official voice. Human citizen Arin Malik, you are requested to attend a special council session. Topic, Terra Nine incident in relations with humanity. Purpose, apology and public correction of record. Apology, correction. For a moment, Arin forgot to breathe. The file from Terra Nine, the hidden voices. Humans are easier to manage when they are broken. He had stolen that truth. Now truth had answered back. About time, one part of him thought. Another part whispered something colder. Apologies do not come from empires. Fear does. Below him, a human soldier called up Arin. You coming down or planning to live up there? On my way, he answered. He closed the message, but the invitation burned in his mind. Every step down the ladder felt heavier. In the temporary base, the squad sat in a circle of metal crates. Helmets off, faces tired, weapons by their legs. Someone passed a bottle. Someone told a joke. Normal noise covered thin fear. Arin's friend Jace, a broad man with sharp eyes, saw his face. You look like you saw a ghost, Jace said. I saw something worse, Arin replied. A message from people who pretend ghosts do not exist. Jace frowned. The council, he guessed. Arin nodded once. They want to apologize, he said. The whole circle went quiet. Apologize, one woman repeated, slowly. For Terra Nine, Arin did not say yes. He did not need to. They all knew. Do not go, Jace said at once. It is a trap. They do not invite humans. They order them, another added. They do not say sorry. They bury things. They want you on their ground. Someone whispered. Under their rules, their cameras, their guns. Arin listened to them. He heard fear, anger, pain. The same storm he carried in his own chest. But under that storm, he heard something else in his mind. The High Council Hall, the leaders, the cameras, the galaxy watching. If I say no, he asked quietly, what changes? No one hears us, Jace said. If I say yes, Arin continued, they will try to use me. They already use us, the woman said. At least this time, you will be seen. The room felt smaller, the walls closer, the air thicker. Arin looked down at his scarred hands. He thought of his mother's name on the memorial wall. He thought of the file he stole, the voices who joked while planning his people's death. If I do nothing, he said, they win. If I go, Jace answered, they might kill you. Arin met his friend's eyes. His voice was calm. If they kill me in the dark, no one will know, he said. If they kill me in front of the galaxy, everyone will know. Silence again. Then a slow, hard nod from Jace. Then make sure they cannot kill your story, Jace said. Back up, proof. Something that lives, if you do not. Arin's mouth curved in something too sharp to be a smile. Already working on it, he replied. Hours later, alone in a small ship bay, he stood before a battered human shuttle. His few bags sat at his feet. His wrist device glowed with new orders. Destination, High Council, Station, orbit of a rich trade world. Security level, maximum. Human escort, none. A small AI in the wall turned toward him. Station management, cold and logical. Passenger, Arin Malik, it said. Your travel has been approved. Prediction, survival chance in council interaction. Low. Arin raised an eyebrow. Low as in, I die, he asked. Multiple risk paths? The AI replied, death is one of them. A normal man might step back. A normal man might refuse to board. Arin was not normal anymore. He touched the metal hull of the shuttle. Its surface was rough, scratched by many flights. You worry too much, he told the AI. If I die, it means they feared me. If they fear me, it means they heard me. The AI was silent for a long second, as if trying to understand emotional logic. Not recognized, it finally said. Arin laughed once, a short, dry sound. That is the human problem, he said. You always forget we are not numbers. He walked up the ramp, each step ringing like a quiet promise. Behind him, the bay doors opened to the stars. As the shuttle detached and turned toward the distant bright point of the council station, Arin looked at the view and thought, they think they invited a broken subject. They do not know. They called a witness. He closed his eyes and saw Terra Nine burning. He opened them and saw the council ahead. Between those two fires, he would make them speak the truth. The High Chancellor's voice rolled through the great hall, slow and heavy. We are here to correct an old mistake. We are here to apologize to humanity. The words echoed from crystal walls and floating platforms. Thousands of alien eyes watched from every level. Millions more watched through screens across the galaxy. Arin Malik stood on the single human platform. Alone, light washed over his face, bright and cold. In front of him, the hala of Terra Nine turned slowly. A small blue world, forever frozen in the moment before it burned. The Chancellor spoke of regret. He spoke of misjudgment. He spoke of pain on all sides. Soft words, safe words, words that did not cut. Arin listened, but he was not really listening. He watched. He watched the pattern of guards at the walls. He watched the way the council aides never looked at Terra Nine. He watched a line of faint light along the far side of the hall. A service door, no symbol, no honor mark, just a thin seam in the smooth wall. This apology has two faces, he thought, one for the galaxy, one for the truth. The Chancellor lifted his hands. Before we continue, we will take a short recess for formal review. During this time, all parties will prepare their final statements. Lights dimmed a little, low music hummed, platforms drifted back, guards relaxed a fraction. A polite voice sounded near Arin's ear. Honored guest, please follow the guide to the waiting room. A small drone floated toward him. Round and silver, a glowing path lit up on the floor at his feet. It led away from the main hall, away from the service door. Arin smiled without warmth. Of course, he said. He walked with the drone. At the last second, he stepped off the glowing path. The drone stopped. Error, it said. You are leaving the permitted route. Route update, Arin answered calmly. He pointed toward the memorial hall that he had seen earlier. Emotions spike. Cultural need, he said. I must pass the human names again before I speak. The drone's light flickered. Its small logic core checked a list. Grief, ritual, cultural needs. The council liked these words when cameras watched. Approved? The drone said after a moment. Escort updated. It floated ahead, leading him toward the side corridors. Arin walked with it until the turn, until the drone passed a thick support pillar. Then he moved. One fast step, one sharp hit with his wrist device. The drone's light went dark. Its shell bumped softly against the wall. To any camera, it looked like a simple crash. Old hardware, station glitch, nothing more. Arin slipped into a narrow service passage behind the pillar. The door there was unmarked. 2 humans. Unmarked doors could mean many things. To the council, they always meant the same thing. Important. Inside, the air was cooler. Pipes and cables ran along the ceiling, humming gently. Maintenance drones crawled along the walls like metal insects. They ignored him. Their orders did not include human. He moved quickly but not loudly. He knew stations like this. Every clean public hall had a dirty spine behind it. Power, data, security, the things that really mattered. At the end of the passage, a thick door blocked the way. No handle, only a smooth panel and a small glass eye. Restricted node, said a flat AI voice. Access level, council only. Arin placed his hand on the panel. Biology mismatch. The AI began. He cut it off by pressing a tiny device to the seam of the panel. Human tech, again, ugly, sharp, born in hidden workshops in refugee blocks. It sent nonsense into the lock. Too many signals, too many IDs, all at once. The AI stuttered. Error, conflicting priority, it said. An emergency. Doors must open for safety. The lock clicked. The door slid aside. Inside, the room was full of light. Holoscreens floated in the air like glass leaves. Lines of data ran in tight rivers. In the middle stood a single chair and a ring of consoles. Council truth, Arin thought. Not the speeches. This. He stepped forward, his heart beating slow and hard. Search, Terra 9, he said. The room answered. Dozens of files appeared. Some red, some black. Most locked. Names, dates, codes. Esau's colony's ID. His mother's name, casualty lists. But one file glowed brighter than the rest. Apology event. Terra 9. Human subject Arin Malik. He opened it. Words and images flowed. A full script, not of the past, of now. Step 1. Council expresses regret. Careful language, no direct blame, no crime admitted. Step 2. Human subject is shown Terra 9 Hala. Emotional reaction used as proof of lasting damage. Step 3. Council offers public apology and a memory garden in orbit. At the same time, all hard records of the strike are marked. Sealed for 500 standard years. Step 4. Medical board declares humans of Terra origin, emotionally unstable species. Recommendation. More control, more security, fewer rights. At the bottom of the file, a line waited. After ceremony, case Terra 9 is declared closed forever. Arin stared at it. His hands curled into fists, nails cutting skin. They are not fixing anything, he thought. They are cleaning the story. A new window opened in the air. Simulation. He saw a model of himself standing in the very hall he had just left. The model raised his voice. The council listened with sad faces. In the script, the Chancellor said, "We forgive your anger. Human pain makes your kind act wild." Then the record stamped. Case closed. Apology given. Human healed. They wanted him to scream, to cry, to be their proof. Slowly, Arin breathed in. Slowly, he breathed out. On another console he saw a line. After event, risk level of human species, raised, reason, deep emotional instability, proved under stress. His chest felt tight, not from fear, from rage so deep it was cold. This was the truth behind the apology, not healing, not respect. A plan to bury the crime and chain the victims? He looked at the time marker in the corner of the screen. Recess almost over. Soon they would call him back and paint him as broken in front of the stars. Unless he moved first. He pulled the small hidden drive from around his neck. The one that carried the voices from the old console on the mining moon. The one that carried the line. Humans are easier to manage when they are broken. He plugged it into the nearest port. The room lights flickered. Unauthorized device. The AI warned. New maintenance patch, Arin said softly. He typed fast, fingers sure. He had learned the way alien code flowed, the way their systems trusted their own names. He wrapped his Terra 9 file in a maintenance label. Filter update. Drone vision. Non-critical. He routed it through cleaning drones, food printers, message boards. Through every low system no one important ever watched. Then he set the trigger. When the Chancellor spoke the words, "Case Terra 9 is closed forever," the patch would break open. The truth would pour out across 100,000 screens. Workers in mines, refugees in blocks, traders in ships, all would see and hear. If I die today, he thought, they will still hear us. A red light flashed once on the far wall. Security sensor? In some control room. An operator saw a small error flag. Strange traffic on node 12. A board voice might say, probably a glitch. Another might answer. Arin cut the connection and pulled the drive free. The room steadied. Data flows cleaned their face and went back to their fake calm. He stood in the middle of all that light and lies. His heart was steady now. He knew what the council planned. He knew what he had set in motion. A soft chime sounded near the door. Recess ending, the system said. All guests returned to main hall. Arin looked once more at the words hanging in the air. Case Terra 9 is closed forever. He imagined them shattering. He imagined the whole galaxy seeing what was hidden behind them. He turned and walked back toward the great hall. On the outside, he was one calm man in a clean jacket. On the inside, he was a loaded signal. The council thought they had written the story of this day. They did not know a human had just written a different ending. The great hall of the council woke up again. Lights rose, soft at first, then bright like a second sun. Platforms drifted back into place. Voices dropped to quiet, then to silence. Arin Malik stepped through the high doors and walked to a small human platform. To the left and right, alien leaders watched him with careful eyes. Some cold, some curious, some already judging. Above them, 1,000 hidden cameras watched too, on far worlds. In mines and markets and refugee blocks, people leaned closer to their screens. Today they would see a human stand before the Hall of Gods. In the center of the hall, the Hala of Terra 9 spun slowly. Clouds frozen white, seas frozen blue, a memory caught in a loop. The High Chancellor raised both hands. The crowd quieted like a wave pulling back from a shore. Session resumed. The system voice said. The Chancellor's voice was smooth, deep, trained to sound wise. Honored worlds, honored species, honored human guest, he began. We have spoken of a painful past. We have spoken of our regret. Arin knew these lines. He had seen them written in the secret script in the control room. Every word chosen to sound soft and mean nothing. He felt the weight of the small hidden drive against his chest. He felt the ghost of the code he had sent crawling through the station, quiet and patient, waiting for one line, one moment. On a trade ship above a gas giant, a human worker watched the broadcast on a dirty screen. In a deep tunnel on a mining moon, humans and aliens stood shoulder to shoulder around a single hala in a refugee block. Children sat on the floor, silent for once. They all saw the same thing, a lone human in a hall built to make everyone else feel small. The Chancellor turned toward Arin. Human citizen Arin Malik, he said. Today, we honor your pain. Your colony, Terra 9, suffered greatly. We now understand that our response was harsher than it needed to be. No, Arin thought. You understood from the start. He did not speak, not yet. The Chancellor went on. We cannot change the past, but we can change the way we remember it. Let this apology be a healing act for you, and for your kind. On his platform, Arin stood very still. The council wanted him to break, to scream, to cry, to confirm their secret file that called humans unstable. He gave them nothing. A low whisper rolled through the hall. Why is he so calm? A winged alien asked. I thought humans explode, another replied. The Chancellor's eyes narrowed just a little. He lifted a thin crystal tablet. The official record. Time was moving toward the line Arin was waiting for. Today, the Chancellor said, before the eyes of the galaxy, we correct our record, we give our apology to you, Arin Malik, and through you to all humans. He paused for effect. Now the script should move to the last part, the soft knife hidden in polite air. And with this act, the Chancellor said, voice rising, we declare the Terra 9 incident. Arin felt his heart slow. Every beat counted. His hand moved up to his chest, fingers brushing the drive under his shirt. He did not need to touch it. The code was already set. But the motion grounded him, reminded him who he was. The Chancellor drew in a breath for the final words. Closed forever. The moment the last word left his mouth, the hall broke. Every hala in the chamber flickered once. The Terra 9 image jumped. The soft background music died like someone had cut a wire. Then a different voice filled the air. Not the Chancellor, not the system. A cold, bored alien voice from years ago. Recorded on a mining moon, now loud enough for a galaxy. Human colony shows signs of unity. Dangerous, it said. Recommend early action. To avoid long-term resistance, gasps cut the hall like sharp wind. Some aliens turned in their seats. Others froze. On far worlds, workers stopped moving. Children stopped breathing. A second voice followed the first. dry, amused. Report it as instability, it said. Use cleansing strike. Call it a safety operation. Security drones on the ceiling jerked in the air. Their eyes flashed as new orders fought old code. In control rooms deep inside the station, hands flew over panels. Cut the feed, someone shouted. Kill the patch, another cried. It is in the low-level systems. I cannot see it. A third yelled back. The first voice spoke again. One last line. Humans are easier to manage when they are broken. The sentence echoed long after the sound ended, like a stone thrown into a silent lake. Arin did not look at the Chancellor. He turned slowly, not toward the Council, but toward the high cameras, toward the unseen eyes of the galaxy. When he spoke, his voice was not loud, but the hall carried it to every corner. The broadcast carried it to every world. You call this an apology, he said. Simple words, heavy as metal. You knew what you did. You chose it. On a cold mining moon, a human woman covered her mouth with her hand. In a rich alien city, a young leader watched with wide eyes. On a small ship far from any star, a child asked, did they really say that about humans? Guards on the lower levels lifted their weapons. Target signs locked on Arin's chest. The Chancellor raised a hand. Stand down, he ordered quickly. If they killed the human now, in this moment, on this feed, the lie would burn with him. Arin's eyes moved across the hall. He saw fear, anger, shame. He also saw something else. Doubt. He took one step forward on his platform. The Council tells you this was a mistake, he said. It was not. They tell you it was confusion. It was not. They called us unstable. But listen to the voices in your own records. He pointed up, toward the now frozen Hala. Not human voices, he said. Your voices, the Chancellor tried to speak. Human citizen Arin Malik? You are out of order, he said. This is a ceremony, not a trial. Arin turned to him at last. His face was calm, his eyes bright and hard. Then you chose the wrong stage, he answered. You gathered the galaxy to watch your theater. I brought them the truth instead. A ripple ran through the crowd. Some alien leaders looked away, others stared at the Chancellor with new cold eyes. The system voice tried to cut in. Transmission interrupted. It said, returning to scheduled feed, but across the station, cleaning drones, food printers, tiny maintenance screens all lit with the same replay, over and over. Humans are easier to manage when they are broken. On a distant world, a miner laughed. The sound sharp and wild. Broken, he said to his alien coworker. Do we look broken to you? Back in the hall, Arin lifted his chin. He did not shout, he did not beg. He spoke like a man reading names on a stone. You bombed our homes, and called it care, he said. You killed our children and called it order. You erased our voices and called it peace. He placed a hand flat over his heart. For years you told us Terra Nine was closed. For you, maybe. For us, it was a wound that never healed. Then, for the first time, he gave them something they did not expect. Not rage, not tears. A small, tired smile. You thought this apology would end our story, he said. It is the first honest page. On one of the upper platforms, an old alien judge stood up without permission. Is this true? She demanded of the Chancellor. Did you seal the records and lie to the Assembly? Other voices rose. Questions, accusations, fear. The hall that once felt like a temple now felt like a storm. Above all that noise, the system voice spoke one more line. Alert, it said. External channels report. Multiple worlds requesting full investigation of Terra Nine. Arin closed his eyes for a brief second. He saw his mother's face, his sister's laugh, the burning sky. He opened them again to the chaos of the hall. A guard on the nearest ledge tightened his grip on his weapon. His orders in his ear set, target ready. In the next breath, someone would decide. Would this day end with one dead human, or with a dead lie? The guard's finger tightened on the trigger. The aim circle rested on Arin Malik's chest. One small pull, one bright flash, one dead human in the Hall of Gods. In the guard's ear, a voice shouted, hold fire, hold fire. Channels are open. All worlds are watching. His hands shook. He had trained to obey orders. Now the orders fought each other, on the floor below. Council aides ran like frightened birds. Screens flashed red. Security codes overlaid with warning signs. On the upper platform, the old alien judge who had stood before raised her voice again. If you kill him now, she shouted to the Chancellor, this hall will never be clean. Her words carried. Other leaders turned to her, then to the Chancellor, for the first time. Some of them looked at Arin not as a problem, but as a mirror. The Chancellor's jaw was tight. For a heartbeat, Arin saw the choice in his eyes. Fear, or survival of his power. The Chancellor lifted his hand toward the guard. Stand down, he said. His voice did not shake, but his eyes were not calm anymore. Weapons lowered. The red aim circles faded. The hall did not relax. Tension stayed like a wire pulled too far. The system voice spoke. Order request from outer assemblies, it said. Multiple worlds demand open review of Terra Nine records. A new hala opened in the air. Messages from other planets, words in many colors, many scripts, simple meaning, show us everything. The Chancellor looked up at them, then down at Arin, then at the frozen image of Terra Nine. 4 years, he said slowly. This council has held the record of Terra Nine. We believed our choice was right. Arin's voice cut in, low and sharp. You believed your control was safe. The Chancellor flinched. He did not deny it. That small silence traveled through the hall like a confession. On a side platform, the council observer who first marked Arin as critical stood up. Her hands shook, but her voice did not. I confirm the file is real, she said. I have seen parts of it before. I stayed silent. She looked at Arin. I was wrong, she said. I apologize. It was not the apology he wanted, but it was the first one that felt unscripted. The old judge pointed a thin hand at the central console. Link a neutral system, she ordered. No council filters. Let the black boxers speak. For a moment, no one moved. Then, under the weight of 1,000 watching worlds, technicians obeyed. Cables lit along the walls. New lights blinked on the ceiling. A deep, slow hum filled the chamber. Connecting to outer archive, the system voice said, searching for Terra Nine independent records. Time seemed to stretch. Arin stood very still. His heart remembered the sound of a sky breaking. His mind remembered the cold shelter. His fingers curled at his side. Across the galaxy, people leaned closer to their screens. The whole story of Terra Nine had been told in one voice for so long. Now that voice had been cracked. A soft chime rang. Source found, the system said. Orbiting beacon, Terra 9 region. Survival status, damaged but active. A tiny hollow of a dark metal object appeared. A lonely beacon, still flying its slow circle around Ash. Forgotten, but not dead. We will hear its data, the old judge said. The hall lights dimmed. The Terra 9 hollow shrank to a corner. A new image grew in its place, not the colony from far away. A room, a small metal house, walls close, light low, 2 children, a boy and a girl, an 8-year-old Arin, a small Sarah. They sat at a table, dust in their hair, eyes too wide. Behind them, Arin Malik leaned close to a wall panel. Her hand rested on an old recorder, linked to the house system. Her face was tired, but fierce. This is Family Unit Malik, Terra 9, the past, Hannah said. If you are hearing this, something went very wrong. Arin's chest tightened. He had never seen this. He had never known this was sent. In the image, Hannah looked down at the younger Arin and Sarah. Children, she said, voice soft. If I cannot be with you in the future, I want the stars to know who you are. Outside the old recording. In the hall, no one moved. Aliens watched a human mother speak across time. Her words simple. My son Arin is stubborn, she said. He thinks he can fix everything, even broken engines with no parts. He thinks it is his job to carry all the weight. A small sad smile touched her lips. If you are watching this, Arin, she said, that means I failed to keep you safe. The words hit him like a physical blow. He gripped the edge of his platform. His eyes burned. I am sorry, the past Hannah said. I am sorry I could not stop what came. I am sorry. I put you in the shelter and did not follow. She put a hand over her heart. But listen to me, my son, she said. If you live, do not live only for our death. Do not let them turn your whole life into their weapon. Her eyes hardened. If an empire hurt you, she went on, make them speak the truth. Make them say our names. But do not let them own your heart. The image shook as a distant impact hit. Dust fell. Sarah flinched. Hannah spoke faster. I know you, she said. You will blame yourself for surviving. I tell you now. I do not. I am proud of you for every breath you take after this. The recording glitched. Her face blurred for a second. Then her last words came through clear. I love you, she said. That is my apology and my promise. I am sorry I must leave you. I am grateful you will go on. The image broke. The beacon's memory ended. Silence fell. Not the cold silence of power, the heavy silence of hundreds of hearts held in the same hand. Arin stood with his head bowed. Tears sat in his eyes, but did not fall. Inside him, something long and sharp gave way, not in weakness, in release. He had waited his whole life for an apology. He had thought it would come from the council, from the empire that burned his world. Instead, it came from a small room on Terra 9, from a woman who already blamed herself too much. The old judge turned to the chancellor. You heard her, she said. You heard your own officers. You saw your own scripts. Now speak without paper. The chancellor looked older than he had at the start of the session. The smooth lines of his duty mask were gone, under the weight of the beacon's message. His shoulders bent, he stepped forward. For once, no aide handed him a tablet. No screen told him what to say. People of the council worlds, he said. His voice was not steady. We were afraid of humans. We were afraid of what they might become. He took a breath. We chose to break them. We called it safety. In the refugee blocks. Humans watched with open mouths. Aliens beside them shifted, uneasy. No leader had ever said this aloud before. We destroyed Terra 9. The chancellor went on. No warning. No true cause. We wrote lies into our record. We sealed the truth and called the case closed. He turned to Arin. The apology we planned for you was a mask, he said. We wanted your pain to prove our story. We did not come here to heal. We came to control. He bowed his head. Not a small nod, a deep bow, the kind his people gave only in front of their oldest shrines. To you, Arin Malik, he said, to the dead of Terra 9. To every human who lived under our lies, I say the words we never said. I am sorry. They were just 3 small words. But they did not sound like a script this time. They sounded like stone breaking. Arin looked at him. Inside, Hannah's message still echoed. Do not let them own your heart. He lifted his head and spoke. Simple, clear. I did not come here to beg, he said. I did not come for your forgiveness. I came for the truth. He touched the small drive under his shirt. For years, you told us we were dangerous animals, he said. Today, your own voices proved who was dangerous. He scanned the hall, saw shame on some faces, anger on others, and on a few, a new, strange respect. You want to close Terra Nine? He said. You cannot, not with one speech, not with one apology. He opened his hand to the cameras. To my people, he said, to humans on every station, every world you heard them admit what they did, do not forget this day. He paused. His voice softened. But do not live only in this day, he added. We are more than our pain. Hannah's face came back to him, her tired smile, her stubborn hope. My mother did not want me to carry only fire, he said. She wanted me to walk forward. He looked up at the star map painted on the dome above. Hard points of light and dark glass. Witnesses, yes, but now also a road. The real apology I needed, Arin said, I already received from a woman who died and still believed in my future. He turned back to the Chancellor. You cannot give me that, he said, but you can do something else. Change the law, Arin said. Open every sealed human case. Give us equal voice in this hall. Put it in your code, not just in your mouths. The old judge stepped forward. I support this motion, she said. Do others? Around the hall, platforms lit one by one. Some green for yes, some red for no, some flickering in fear. In the outer worlds, people waited. In the hall, numbers climbed. Majority reached. The system voice said at last. Motion passed. New text appeared in the air. Council, law, simple lines. No species may be struck without open cause. No records of such strikes may be sealed from the assembly. Humans of Terra origin are recognized as full persons under Council law. For the first time since the sky burned over Terra Nine, the story was not only written by the ones who fired. Arin let out a slow breath. He did not smile, but the tightness in his chest eased. He had not brought back his mother. He had not saved his sister. No speech could do that. But he had forced an empire to say what it did. He had made the stars hear. As he turned to leave the platform, the council observer called out, Arin Malik, she said. What will you do now? He paused at the edge, looked once more at Terra Nine's hala, then at the long curve of the viewing window beyond the hall. I will go home, he said. Where's home for you? She asked. He thought of the refugee blocks, of the dead colony, of ships between worlds. Anywhere a human can stand without being called a problem, he answered. I will help build that place. He walked toward the exit. Guards stepped aside, not out of fear, out of something new, respect. Outside the Hall of Gods, the stars waited. Once, they had seemed like silent judges. Now, to Arin Malik, they looked like open doors. He touched the small drive at his chest one last time. Thank you, Mother, he whispered. Your apology reached me. He did not know yet where his path would go. He knew only this. The boy in the shelter had grown into a man who made the galaxy listen. The colony they tried to erase had become the story no one could shut. And somewhere, in the memory of a lonely beacon around a dead world, a human woman's voice still played, telling her son she was proud of him. Over and over, until every star heard it.